Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here. Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. This is another episode of the Snowflake Viewpoint, episode 63. We are the date and time is the 15th of July, 2024 at 8 p.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on YouTube and at twitch.tv, youtube.com/REGANELITE, and on twitch.tv/REGANELITE1. Hello to those who are here live. Hope you guys are all doing well. Just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure I've got that up properly. Yes, I do. So we got. I was thinking about covering Trump, but considering that I've already done a video on it, I've done a premiere video on it yesterday at short notice, and I'm doing another. I've got another video dropping, which members should be able to see already. If not, I'll double check and make sure they're available to members, because I have recorded and uploaded it. It should be available. If not, I'll do that for you guys after this live stream. But Considering I'm doing 2 videos, I'm not going to cover. I might cover some aftermath on the world news round. Oh no, sorry, the Snowflake corner tomorrow, for you guys. As just quickly, just before we dive into this, guys. I still haven't. While I've still got an agreement to do a live stream with my guest, I still haven't got an agreed time slot. Obviously, I wanted to do it at 8 p.m, but the person hasn't got back to me. So I'm a little bit like, can I have an answer, please? And I still haven't got that. So apologies. That I haven't put the live, like kind of told you guys who it is, but yeah, sorry about that. Anyway, who we got here tonight? So Dave McGuinness is here. Good to see you, Dave McGuinness, guys. Make sure you check out the youtube.com/the2 Davies when they cover all things Scotland, guys. They do some great stuff there. Obviously, it's going to be a one-man David show for the time being. We wish the other Davey all in good health here on the channel. So that is for sure. Artibus, good to see you there, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Mag Monkey is here as well. Moderating, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Jow is here. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. I know the Scots did after the football, but let's dive right into the stories, guys. So the first one I've got is actually one that's only dropped a few hours ago. Interesting one to say the least. The headline is EU leaders are open-minded about the future relations with the UK, says senior officials. The blog sources says the ball is firmly in the UK court regarding the reset of ties as the leaders prepared to meet at Bleacham for an EPC forum. So I did read a little bit of it in this, and we will into this in a shortly. So obviously the last video I did about this obviously caused quite a stir on the channel. It blew up as well. So a lot of people were like, "Huh?" sort of thing. Which did. I'm glad it had some engagement. But obviously, a lot of people think it's a lot of they're going back into the EU and all this kind of stuff. No, at least not right now. Anyway, it's just more engagement, more talk. It's not as if we're rejoining the blog, rejoining the single market, rejoining the EU. No, it's not that case. It's that there is open-minded discussions about the kind of established relationship that UK can have with the EU, and they want to reset that relationship. Now, obviously, the EU are obviously understandably cautious about any kind of concrete deals for as such, because what they don't want to do is agree to something and then have the Conservatives take over, because we know that one day, if not them, the likes of Reform or some other party, until we have a change in the voting system here, we know that they will undo it. So that's why the EU are kind of very skeptical about maybe putting as much emphasis as they would like on this. But there is talks there, but there's nothing obviously certainty, nothing of concrete. I know if I made this as a separate video, I know people would kick off again. But let's read what the Guardian has to say on this, you guys. So, European leaders are open-minded about how to reset relations with Britain and are not ruling out a UK-EU summit in the future. That's quite significant. Obviously, people might not see too much into that, but I think it's a good thing. Obviously, it's like obviously a bit more further discussions, and rather than just phone calls. Obviously, that's a very interesting prospect in a summit of some sorts in the future. A senior EU official has said before a meeting of European leaders in Oxfordshire on Thursday. Interesting. But they have indicated the ball is firmly in the UK's court, as they expect an offer from London on issues such as youth mobility and citizens' rights to get things rolling. Now, I hope... Now, there was obviously, if you guys remember, there was an opportunity for the Conservative government to allow... There was an opportunity to get... there was a scheme in to get young citizens to... both from Europe and from the UK to kind of be able to go back and forth between each other. There was an option for us to be a part of that scheme, and the Conservatives turned it down. I wonder if the Labour government would be interested in opening up that door. I don't know if they would or not, but it's definitely it would definitely raise some eyebrows for sure. The Labour government's intention to reshape the relationship will not be on the formal agenda of the European political community at Bleacham Palace. But Keir Starmer is expected to discuss it at the 2 bilaterals, one with the Irish Prime Minister, Simon Harris, at Chequers on Wednesday night, and the second one with the French President, Emmanuel Macron, in Oxfordshire on Thursday. Now, obviously, the Irish Prime Minister has obviously gave his feelings about the issue. I'm sure Emmanuel Macron would have some positive constructive talks there as well with them. So, but to say if there's anything more going to be of them, I wouldn't jump any on high horses or anything whatsoever on that. But it is, again, good signs that we are talking with our neighbours, and we should be talking more with our neighbours instead of ignoring them like the last government did. Especially if we want to, reduce trade barriers for ourselves, reduce the red tape. We are open-minded to see what we can be achieved. We have clear demands when it comes to youth mobility. When it comes to citizens, I think it would appreciate more coordination, more cooperation with the UK, the senior EU officials said. EU sources say while there was a clear appetite for coordination on foreign policy, and it was happy to look at trading relationships, which has become more challenging with Brexit requirements for customs and standard documentation. They stressed the original Brexit deal was not open for renegotiation, something which chimes with the Prime Minister's pledge before the election that the EU would not re-enter the EU single market or the customs union. The new EU Relations Minister Nick Thomas-Symonds visit Brussels on Monday for an introductory meeting with Markos Stekovic, the Vice President of the European Commission, who leads on relations with the UK. EU sources said the meeting with Starmer on the sidelines of last week's NATO summit went well. They were aware of the UK's desire to reset the relationship, and if there was desire to go forward with a new strategy relationship, they would entertain that. Asked whether this would include a UK-EU summit mirroring those that happened with many other non-EU countries, such as Egypt, senior officials said they were not excluding anything. Around 45 EU and non-EU leaders will descend on Livestream, the birthplace of Winston Churchill, on Thursday. EU diplomats say they expect Volodymyr Zelensky will be among them. The brainchild of Macron, the short informal summit is designed to facilitate ad hoc meetings between the Prime Minister to forge and strengthen bonds in a way that is not possible at other meetings. EU sources say Macron will co-chair a working group on defence and democracy along with Badu Sota, the president of Moldova. Moldova still having a lot of issues themselves, being on the border of Ukraine and the rebels of that got that territory, haven't they? So but they're obviously more pro-EU. While the second group with the same thing will be chaired at the President of the European Councils, Charles Michel, and Montenegro's representatives. Italy's Giorgina Mendi will, for a second time, chair a working group on migration, along with Edi Rama, the Prime Minister of Albania. And at the last EPC in Spain in October, the two leaders, along with Rishi Sunak, Macron, and the then Dutch Minister Mark Rutte, agreed a 5-point plan to tackle people smuggling gangs. Yeah, I think that's really obviously that's going to be something that need to be dealt with without a shadow of a doubt. Simon says 55. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. One EU diplomat said that Thursday's EPP summit was an opportunity for the Starmer to set a different tone on migration, killing off Sunak's Rwanda deportation plan. A third group of leaders will discuss energy, and at least one country will be looking to move forward on other ad hoc projects, including protections and monuments and cultural heritage in conflict zones and rail interconnectivity. Many EU countries are expected to press Starmer regarding their desire for youth mobility and Erasmus university exchange programs, something they see as an important way of helping the next generation forge cross-border bonds of understanding. Otherwise, they will grow up without knowing each other, which will be bad for Europe, says one diplomat. This is a very good point. This is a very, very good point. And this will obviously, if they push for that, the youth mobility, more than anything, that will obviously drive the young more of a desire to join the European Union. And this is exactly what the right wingers will not want. They would not want us having that closer relationship with the EU. They want to keep us divided. That's what they want there. Good morning, Steve McMahon. I hope you're doing well. So that's going to be an interesting one. I think it will definitely raise some eyebrows if he does agree to it. I don't think he's going to set anything in tone. I think right now it's just talks, but nothing's concrete. He's keeping. I think he needs to. Him and his inner circle need to keep their cards very close to their chest about what they can and can't do. Obviously, because of the media and how they will respond. I think that's really, really important. But I think over time they will establish some of these things, but whether they'll establish the youth mobility one will be a question, that is for sure. I'd like to think they will, I'd like to think they will, but only time will tell on that one, guys. So the next one I got for you is this absolute twat of a health secretary. Wes Streeting defends his puberty blocker ban decision after Labour criticism. The health secretary says safety for children must come first after the MP reacted to the move to retain the Tory policy. So I fully read his tweet when he came out with this. And I have concluded, based on his information that he has given, that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Because if he really did, he would have gotten expert advice on this. And the main expert advice on the puberty blocker was only precautionary, nothing about any kind of it needs to be banned or anything like that. It's not a case of oh my god, the children are going to suffer because of this. Like, it's not that at all. This is way over the top from Wes Streeting. And and what's even more infuriating to me is that he's completely ignored the LGBT community on this, especially the LGBT community within his own party, their own community within Labour. He's ignored them as well. So talk about a double insult to injury on this decision. I'm glad that both Graham Hughes and Phil Morehouse came out standing against this, and rightfully so. Like I said, they rightfully called out Wes Streeting. I always said I didn't trust this guy for 1 second. I actually said on his Morning Brew live stream, he didn't respond to it, but I don't think anyone else did. I said I kind of wish he had lost his seat. I really said that. I really wish Wes Streeting had lost his seat to that independent candidate in hindsight now, looking back on it. Like, because of, I feel like he's more right wing than most of those within Labour. He's such a dangerous person. Obviously, I wouldn't say he's on the level of, like, I wouldn't go as far as like Suella Braverman, Liz Truss, or Priti Patel like them, but he is problematic. Is the best way to describe Wes Streeting. Oh, Alistair Keir, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. He's given 5 memberships to Pedulous, Mark Wilkie, Tories Don't Get Tasered, Billy Kershaw, and Satu Hoshi. Alistair Keir, it's good to see you, my friend. I know you've been very busy, so you haven't had time to be around on the live streams. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you had a good weekend. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate your support. I really, really do. Thank you. So let's read what they've had to say on this, guys. So, Wes Streeting has defended his decision to make a permanent ban on puberty blockers being prescribed to children for gender-based reasons after the move was criticised by a series of Labour MPs. Like, he's completely gone against his own Labour MPs as well. And I'm not even just talking about the LGBT community here. The Health Secretary cited the CAS review into Gender Identity Service as saying there is currently not enough evidence about the impact on young people of using puberty-suppressed hormones, which are occasionally used for children with gender dysphoria. But Labour MPs, including Stella Creasy, said that while the review published early this year was pre-delineation Dr. Hilary Cass recommended caution, it did not mean a complete ban. And this is the key wording here. The key wording is caution. Yes, you obviously got to be caution. Of course it is. We're talking about children here, understandably. But a complete ban, like, didn't think about the consequences of outright banning it. In a lengthy thread on X on Sunday, Streeting said he was backing an emergency ban on their use imposed on it by his Conservative predecessor, Victoria Atkins, which is being challenged in the High Court. News of Streeting's decision prompted a reaction from some Labour MPs over the weekend, with Creasy saying that the CAS review recommended caution, not exclusion, on puberty blockers for children. She wrote on X, "To those asking, will always be MPs who listen to demand for a better research and evidence for help on those with gender dysphoria, not abandons them." Zara Sultan, another backbencher, tweeted, "Labour's manifesto promised to remove indignitaries for trans people who deserve a reconciliation and acceptance. That entail ends the Tories' ban on puberty blockers. Young people, CIS and trans, must have access to healthcare they need. I'll always stand with the trans community." He has to undo it. He has to lift the ban because you're going against the manifesto pledge. Didn't Keir Starmer said that all their promises would be ironclad? That's what he said. He said they would be ironclad, guys. He's been ironclad. So no worries, buddy. No, listen. If you can't listen, you can't listen. Everybody's got life things to deal with, mate. As everyone's got things. You can't always be at these live streams and stuff. It's fine, mate. I appreciate your support. I really do. It's fine. If you can't be here, you can't be here. Like, same goes for anyone else, If you can come and support, great. If you can't, it's not the end of the world, honestly. I appreciate it nonetheless. But just on this was on the manifesto. So he's going to get to the manifesto here. So what's Keir Starmer going to do? Is he going to ignore all this? So someone needs to pressure Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister. Someone needs to pressure him and say, hey, you need to make a decision on this. He needs to override Wes Streeting on this. He needs to say to him, look, yeah, we made a manifesto pledge. You've got to undo it. That's what he needs to say. He needs to say to Wes, look, I understand your caution about that, but you can't outright ban it. You need to uplift it. It's what he needs. That's what he needs to say. And that's here. What of them? They said only a small number of young people have subscribed puberty blockers. Yeah, those who are often subscribed them as life-saving. I know that distress the puberty blockers ban is causing them. No matter what happens in court, I will continue fighting for the government to scrap it. Puberty suppressing treatments are used for children who began puberty very early, and since the mid-1990s have been used to hold off sexual masturbation for those who seek time to explore their gender identity. In her review, Cass said the evidence base for the long-term safety of this procedure was weak and more research was needed. In April, Atkins said a ban on the use of such treatment for gender dysphoria in the NHS would also be enforced in the private sector, a decision which has been challenged in the High Court. Defending his decision to stick with Atkins' stance, Streeting said that the evidence that puberty blockers were safe for such use should have been established before they were ever prescribed, and that a clinical trial was being set up. Arguing that the use of such drug for gender dysphoria was clinically very different from the prescription for much younger children to prevent very early puberty, Streeting said. We don't yet know the risk of stopping pubertal hormones at a critical life stage. That is the basis from on which I am making decisions. I am treading cautiously in this area because the safety of children must come first. But it's not his decision. It should not be his decision to make. It should be the medical experts, and that no one is. And like, if there is a medical expert literally saying that you cannot give these to kids, then I understand that. But that's not what I'm hearing here. They're saying caution, understandably so, here on children, which is perfectly acceptable. Like I said, anything for children is obviously a very serious thing, but. And of course, we understand the cautiousness, but outright banning it is on a very small number of people is not right, and he knows it's not right. Some of the public statements being made are highly irresponsible and can put the vulnerable young people at risk. I know there's a lot of fear and anxiety. I'm determined to improve the equality of and access to care for trans people. Following his post on social media, LGBT plus Labour published a letter to Streeting signed by the organisation's trans national officer, Dylan Nater, and Willow Parker, the trans officer for political party student wing. And they wrote, in line with the review's recommendations, steps must be taken to cut waiting lists for trans youth, address long-term staffing issues, and move towards a decentralised, equitable system for accessing care, including through a provision of regional centres, providing comprehensive training for NHS staff on how best to support and work sensitivity with trans and questioning young people, and better address the current toxicity of public debate, which is actively harmful for young people. The authors call on the Health Secretary to urgently set out the timeline, scope and nature of a clinical trial, and added, we hope that under this new Labour government, progress can be made to reset the public discussion on trans rights, centre on the humanity and the compassion for each individual trans person. But did he consult these community? Did he consult them? This is the question. Did he consult them before making that decision? And the honest answer is no, he did not. He made that decision without even speaking to those communities. Because if he had done, he would have put that in his tweet saying that I have spoken to communities based on this and why I've made this decision to them. That's what he could have done. He could have gone out of his way to these communities and to the LGBT community and said, look, I am making this decision because X, Y, and Z. That's the least he could have done. The least he could have done. But he didn't even do that. And how many times have we heard the LGBT community be ignored? So many times when it comes to issues surrounding them. Again, not put in the discussion at all. It's not right, and everyone knows it's not right. Let's see what some of you guys are saying in the chat. I don't trust him either, says Al-Zakir. Yeah, I know you don't, buddy. For you guys, I'll be me, mum, a couple of weeks until the end of the, no time for you to keep your mum company. No, don't worry about it, Simon. Simon, like I said, like I said to Alistair Keir, life comes first, buddy. It's all good. Caution is not banned and is not very recommendable. Reason why it's a medical procedure here and not a political one. I find it illogic to politicize people's health. Exactly. Let the health experts make that decision, not politicians. It should be health experts making that decision. Did you ask the trans community and the doctors? Well, the experts said caution. They didn't say ban. They said exercise caution. But I do agree that more studies need to be made. I do agree with that. But I also know that there is a small minority that require the puberty blockers for cases. There are cases out there where there are some cases where children need them, and it can have dire consequences if they don't have them. So. And I think they should only be given in extreme circumstances anyway, in extreme cases. And that's what it is. We're not talking about handing them out to everyone. That's not what this is about. It's about giving it to the very small minority. And I have no problem with people being forced to jump through a few hoops to get to, with parents having to jump through a few hoops if necessary to get that for the children, and it just on the sense of cautionary. I have no problem with that. I think that's perfectly understandable. Can't stand Streeting, nasty little Tory, says Steve. he's definitely got a blue tie somewhere, I'm sure. I mean, what he should the King's Speech. He should just wear a blue tie. He should really wear a blue tie. We'll say a lot. That is for sure. So speaking of the King's Speech. So the new government is to unveil more than 35 bills in the King's Speech. So Labour promised to put economic growth at the heart of the legislative agenda on Wednesday, ahead of hosting European leaders on the summit on Thursday, in another busy week for Keir Starmer. Yeah, it's very, like I said, we've always talked a little bit briefly about the European leaders summit as well. So there's that as well. And obviously the King's Speech is obviously going to be really, really important. Someone did ask a while ago, asking these PMQs going to be this Wednesday. I don't think so because of the timing of the King's Speech. No. Is it going to happen next week, PMQs? I'm assuming it's going to be. I'm going to wait for the BBC to confirm it on their website before I set up the live stream for it. But I imagine that next week will be the first PMQs. I imagine. I'm not 100% sure on that. It should be, but I don't see why it shouldn't be. But as for this, obviously, 35 bills. I don't expect. I expect this King's Speech to be much more significant in comparison to obviously what we've been putting up with the Conservatives. Talking Conservatives makes me sleepy. That's for sure, guys. I'm just tired of talking about them. But there's a lot of good things. One of the things that will definitely be in this speech, which I know Phil from Different Bias has mentioned as well, and absolutely, is obviously the bill to nationalise the railway companies. So, for example, South Eastern Railway Service, its contract expires in several months' time. So they will want, I think it's like September or October or something when the contract for South Eastern expires. So obviously they want to get the bill in this. They expect the bill to be in this, for example. So once that bill is obviously put through for the Divided King's Speech, once the contract for South Eastern Rail Service ends, they can then be taken into state hands. And obviously, understandably, when the contracts run out on every single other rail company, they will be obviously taking them back into state ownership hands, into the government's hands, away from these nasty rail companies who have been doing a piss poor job of running our rail service. And it's not going to cost too much for us as well. Obviously, the government will have to have things in place, obviously, to set it up. But that's just one of many things. I'm sure, obviously, the legislation to criminalise water executives for water companies, that hopefully should be in this speech as well. because obviously if you do that, obviously it forces them to act when it comes to looking after our water. Still, personally, I think they should be nationalised, but I can also understand why they're not going to nationalise them because of the mounting debts on them. But yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I'm not going to live stream the King's speech if anybody asks. I did think about it, but what I probably will do is I'll probably do a long video instead. Or I'll probably do a review of it or something like that, read back on it or something like that, instead of recording it. I don't think people will want to watch the King's speech, if I'm honest. I think I'd rather people would rather just hear what's actually in the speech. What are the actual bills that have been passed? I think that would be far more interesting than listening to all the folly, the music, the long talking, all that stuff. Yeah, I think people will want to skip all that stuff, if I'm honest. So the new Labour government will unveil more than 35 bills during the first King's speech of its tenure, Downing Street has said. Trailing a significant moment on Wednesday, we will see the King announce the party's plans for power in ceremony full of prompt ministers promise to focus on economic growth and to ensure the legislation supporting their mission to rebuild Britain. King? Yes, King, Joe. The raft of bills will include promises on house building, improving transport, increasing jobs and security and clean energy, reflecting Keir Starmer's first step for government as he campaigns on during the general election. Yes, I also believe there'll be more workers' rights in the King's speech as well, which would be a very good thing as well. That's which is actually a poll from one poll from one article that will come out for you guys. Apparently, there's a poll indicating it's great approval there's big approval for more workers' rights from not just obviously from not just from Labour voters, not just Lib Dem voters or Green voters, but also Reform and Conservative voters back more workers protections than that, which is actually quite fascinating. So keep an eye out for that video when it comes down, guys. Number 10 also confirmed a new bill to enforce new tough spending rules designed to ensure economic growth while avoiding the chaos which left families with spiralling bills and wreaked misery on people's lives, strengthened by the role of the Office for Public Responsibility, the OBR. Yes. Not my King. So Sausage Fingers is talking on Wednesday. Yeah, I believe it starts at 11:15. Or 11:30 or 12 o'clock, because that's when because I saw the BBC Parliament have got the live feed set up already for Wednesday. I believe there will be legislation to empower regions to deliver change for their communities with a promise to hand the powers back to local leaders who know what's best for their areas. I don't know how much of this is going to help, but obviously let's see a royal parade. Yes, a royal parade, at the expense of us taxpayers, I know. This is why I'm not covering the King's speech, because there'll be a lot of pompous. So I'm gonna watch it. I might watch it on the Discord or maybe something like that. But yeah, I'm not going to indulge a live stream for it. Nobody's gonna want to watch the King's speech with me sitting there like going No, nobody will want that. Reports also suggested a reform of the House of Lords will be included that could see some peers forced to retire age 80 alongside a roadmap for getting rid of hierarchy peers. Yeah, so these are the first steps in the House of Lords to obviously make the changes. Forcing them to retire age 80 and above, that's very, very good. Roadmap for getting rid of hierarchy peers. Yeah, they need to make it more difficult. What they need to do is they do need to abolish the House of Lords, but what they can do is make it very difficult for people to be appointed into the House of Lords. They can enforce new rules to make it more difficult for them, that you can't just pick anyone willy-nilly into the House of Lords. You can only suggest certain people. So start making it more difficult for future governments to basically put anyone in the House of Lords. Speaking ahead of the event, the Prime Minister says, "Our work is urgent. There's no time to waste. We're hitting the ground running, bringing forward the laws that we need to rebuild our country from the long term. And our ambitions fully cost the agenda is the down payment on that change." Giving further hints would appear in the plan, Sir Keir added, from energy to plan to unbreakable physical rules. My government is serious about delivering the stability that is going to turbocharge the growth that will create wealth for every corner of the UK. The news of national renewal will not be easy. It is just the down payment on our plans for the next 5 years, but the legislation set out in the King's speech will build on the momentum of our first days in office and will make a difference to the lives of working people. A day after the significant domestic moment, the Prime Minister will return to the world stage by hosting a European political community meeting at the birthplace of Winston Churchill, Buckingham Palace. Over 45 leaders will gather on Thursday to discuss the most pressing generational issues facing Europe, including migration, energy and defence, in the first of the meetings to be hosted by the UK. Sir Keir will also hold talks with Taoiseach Simon Harris and the French President Emmanuel Macron. We already know about that. Pointing to challenges like the Ukraine war, small boats crossing, the Prime Minister added, I would also like to change the way the UK engages our European partners. Yeah. We talked about this already in the other article. But yeah. But mainly, obviously, it's mainly about the King's speech. So yeah, it's going to be a very busy week for the Prime Minister. And yeah, I'm very keen to know what is going to be included in the speeches, and there may be even one or two surprises that we may not have expected as well. I will absolutely love it if there is going to be some kind of media reform, even if it's small changes to media reform. I will be very, very happy if there's some kind of changes to the media reform as well here, because we definitely need something. Obviously, it would be ideal if the BBC in Scotland wasn't so blooming biased, and Scotland were able to have a bit more independence media. Same with Wales, but we know why Westminster won't give that. But I hope we get something, some kind of a small litigations of change in the media, even if it's not big, just something that will make us start down that right road. You guys, I generally hope so. Will he bring his wife? Yes, he will. I'm Republican, by the way. 80. What are they doing there? Having tea? Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, it'll get rid of a lot of old gentlemen there. It will do. That is for sure. It'll definitely get rid of a lot of old gentlemen by doing that as well. By adding the 80, by putting the ban on the 80 plus, obviously as well. But yeah, I'm very keen to see what's going to be in this speech. It's going to be It's going to be fascinating, to say the least. I'm only interested in what the bills are. I'm not very interested in the speech itself. The bills is just the main thing that everybody wants to know about. Yeah. So guys, just before we go to our quick break, funny video, guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate shares across social media so others are notified of this video. And if you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. It really does help support the channel. Channel's doing really well. We're well over the halfway point. We want to reach 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if one more subscriber gets me one step closer to that achievement. So thank you to everyone who's done that. I really greatly appreciate it. So you guys, so this funny video, it's based off a certain football game that happened yesterday. So I hope you guys enjoy this. If you're not into football, you're probably not going to enjoy this one. But this is from Michael Spicer with the Gareth Southgate Masterclass. Hope you guys enjoy.
Hello, I'm Gareth Southgate. Yeah, this is my masterclass. This is my preferred formation, 4-3-3, but every now and again I like to move the players back into a more sort of defensive 9-1 really, leaving Harry Kane isolated up front so that he's not sure about whether he's a striker or a half-time sprinkler. Obviously it's important to make the most of your creative players so that they can open up defences at the right times. So that's why I either isolate them completely, like this, or I put them all in the same number 10 role, like this, so that they all get in each other's way. By doing it this way, you're sort of confusing the opposition, who are expecting you to be, good occasionally. If things aren't going my way, I like to sort of change things up a bit, throw some subs on, inject some life into the game, in the 93rd minute. So if you take my most recent match, when it wasn't really going so well for me, what I did was I took a midfielder off here and put this midfielder on instead. I mean, as you can see, that makes a world of difference. It's important to pick players who have vision, who can see a pass that no one else can. So that you can train that out of them and tell them to pass sideways and backwards for the full 90 minutes, or else you'll drop them for Calvin Phillips. The key to any match is balance. So I like to put my right backs on the left, my centre midfielders, I like to put them on the left as well, and my goalkeeper on the left too, just over there. Oh, I had so many counters on the left, I unbalanced the table, sorry.
Yeah, so that was Gareth Southgate's actual tactics at the Euros, guys, for those who are wondering. Those are the legitimate tactics. No joke. They were the actual legitimate tactics anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed that one anyway. Not like I said, I'm not really I'm not really a football person. I fell out of football, as you guys know, but wanted to throw that one in there anyway. So this next one I got for you guys is an interesting one. I don't know how concerned or we should be concerned about this, but this is exclusive from my news from them. So fears of a new COVID spike after a sharp fall in spring booster uptake. So cases are expected to rise following the Euros, with transmissions expected to be 9 times higher than it otherwise would have been. This is NHS data showing a reduction in spring booster uptake here. So this is sourced from NHS England data and vaccine surveillance in Scotland and Wales as well. So it says here for Scotland, 83% 75 years or older, immunosuppressed at 59% for all ages. That was 2023 last year in Scotland. In 2024, it's gone down to 73% for 75 years or older, and it's gone from 59 to 46% for immunosuppressed for all ages. That's in Scotland. In Wales, 73% last year, 75 years or older. Data not available, so immune spread there. Data was not available for apparently. But this year it's gone down to 63%, so 10% drop there for 75 years or older, and immunosuppressed was 43% of all ages there. And then for England, which has much lower, as you can see, in comparison to Scotland and Wales, last year in 2023, 68% 75 years or older, and 32% for immunospread for under 75. And you can see that's dropped again in 2024. Not as bad, I would say, as not as bad as Scotland and Wales, but still but they're already quite low already here. 63% in 2024, 75 years or older, and 29% for immunosuppressed for under 75s there, 29%. So, yeah. But it's understandable that some people were just feeling like that COVID's long gone and not thinking about it. But it can still cause problems to people, even though it may not be deadly, because obviously most of the world has taken vaccines and immunization obviously from it. It doesn't mean to say that it still can't cause problems. People are still suffering from long COVID as well. It's also important to remind people of that as well. Jeannie Bottle, good to see you there. I hope you're doing well. So let's read a bit more into this, guys. So a number of people who took up the offer for a free spring COVID booster fell sharply this year, putting vulnerable people at increased risk, and the NHS further under pressure, scientists have warned. So they predict that the reduced uptake will increase the number of people who will get infected and make serious illness. Hospitalisation and long COVID more likely when they do. This is all the more concerning because the cases are much higher this summer than they were last summer. Furthermore, they are expected to spike in the next week or two following the Euros. In which transmissions are estimated to have been up to 9 times higher than it would have been. New figures show that the final take-up of the spring booster, which ended on June the 30th, among the over 75s in England fell from 68% in 2023 to 63% this year. And among the under 75s was weakened immune systems. It dropped from 32% to just 29%. This is a particular concern to scientists, as many in this group of people, which includes those with cancer or who have an organ transplant, are especially vulnerable to COVID. The level of uptake of the spring booster is very worrying, as it leaves the elderly and most vulnerable risk of severe disease. Professor Lawrence Young, a virologist, did I say that right, at the Warwick University, had told the Eye. Yeah, I mean, obviously, but did they promote it enough? Was it advertised enough that you can get this free spring COVID? Was it promoted enough? Probably not. It probably wasn't promoted enough, to be fair. I think that's a fair argument to put in this. We're already seeing an increase in COVID-related hospitalizations in the elderly. There's been a massive failure in public health messaging, which is added to the general complaints about COVID in the sense that the virus is no longer a problem. This is not the case, he said. This is what the problem is here. Now, I generally believe that I'm not saying that Labour are going to tell everyone COVID is back, panic, but I think the government needs to make a statement, public statement, to say that COVID is not completely gone, and that people should, if an opportunity comes to take a free they should literally put out a public statement to literally say, like, you know, if there's a free booster vaccine, please urge people to take it. Like, really put it out there to the media to say, we're like, the health secretary needs to be, Wes Streeting should be encouraging this as well. I know he's got the whole puberty blocker thing going on, but he should be highlighting that as well and saying that, highlighting this as well. He should be highlighting that. I think that's a really important. He said that the increases in infections and serious infections will also provide more opportunities for the virus to evolve in a nasty new variant. The virus is continuing to change and spread, and if we're not careful, we could be in store for a large wave of infections over the autumn-winter months with new, more infectious virus variants. The government spring booster campaign is now over, but I would recommend getting a private booster if you consider yourself vulnerable or if you are in contact with anybody at risk of severe disease, Professor Young said. Yeah, the problem is that you're asking people to pay for the booster. People aren't going to pay for the booster. Unless they really absolutely need it, people are not going to pay for it. But if it's free and if it's highlighted enough, people will take it. People will take it if they feel they need, you know, just to be on the safe side of precaution. In Scotland, the drop was even more pronounced, falling from 83% to 73% among over 75s, according to the analysis official data by Bob Hodgkins, a data analyst who works with the independent stage group of scientists. Meanwhile, for the immunosuppressed people of all ages, the figure in Scotland fell from 59% to 43%. The level of uptake among people is weakened immune systems is higher than for England, in at least a part because it includes the over 75s as well as the under 75s. The figure for immunosuppressed uptakes in England is only for under 75s, who are less likely to get the booster than older age groups. In Wales, the drop was bigger still, falling from 73% to 63% among the over 75s, a decline of 14%. The data needed to compare the change for immunosuppressed people in the country is not available. The common effect of foregoing successive spring booster offers, as many people have done, is also concerning. It means that immunity builds up from previous infections and vaccines are becoming even weaker, according to Simon Williams of Swansea University. Yeah. That's the other problem as well. He said the drop in spring boosters is very concerning, in particular to low rates among those with weak immune systems is really troubling. It may be that younger adults see COVID as something that is for the over 75s that needs to worry about. But if you have a weakened immune system, it's still important to top up your immunity. Yeah, but for me, it's just about making sure, highlighting that it's available. And if it's free and it's available, it needs to be highlighted. You know, just make sure it's put it out there for people. So the next time it comes around for free, like the government should be, like Wes Streeting should be on this, you know, and just like putting this out there. I know he's got other things on his mind, but literally just a statement, like literally he could literally do like a 30-second or 1-minute advertisement on his Twitter, put it out there, like to get this, the next time it's free, like literally do a 1-minute advertisement promoting the benefit of getting this, getting this booster. And literally he's put it out there and it will just, right there, and the media will cover it. The media will highlight this, Wes Streeting encouraging people to get the booster, and it's free, and people will go out of their way to get the booster. It's really not that hard. Hell, you can even get, like, why not get a celebrity to do it? You know, it's not that hard to get people to talk about a particular subject if you can get the right people for it. Professor Stephen Grinnan of Leeds University added, it really is a concern that vaccines uptake has fallen, especially considering that only people eligible for a free vaccine are considered to be the most risk for infection. They are most likely to gradually lose protection from severe COVID from immunity that they have built up through the previous infections and vaccinations. The NHS says more than 4 million people in England took up the offer of a COVID spring booster vaccine this year, including 2/3 of care home residents in England. Dr. Alexander Allen, a consultancy epidemiologist at the UK Health Security Agency, the UKHSA, said, vaccinations remain our best line of defence against COVID-19. We know socialising is part of the fun of summer, but taking some time to recover when you're so unwell to stop the spread of these viruses, this helps protect others, especially those who are more vulnerable. Yes, and of course, remember, wash your hands, the usual, like, if you have hand sanitizer, keep hand sanitizer with you. Like, even though COVID is over, like, just from a hygienic point of view, guys, if you have still hand sanitizer, take it with you. I like whenever I'm taking my man bag with me, if I'm going on places, me and Mrs., I have hand sanitizer in there because I've still got loads from the pandemic, like piles. So I always have a bottle there if I ever need it. You never know when it comes in handy. Just stay. Simple hygienic stuff, guys. Common sense is what it is. But obviously, as for the booster itself, I say what I need to say. If they want to get people more on it, promote it. It's not that hard to promote it. Hell, it doesn't cost anything for Wes Streeting to literally do a 1 minute. Like I said, it doesn't cost anything for the health secretary to literally do a 1 minute promo video and put it on social media. Doesn't cost anything. So next time it's free, yeah, get him to do a video highlighting it, tag all the people you need to tag, and boom, there's your video. And the media will report on it because it's obviously the health secretary is saying something very important. So there you go. It's not rocket science. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Having vaccinations up to debate is a no-no. Here it's mandatory and that's it there, and medical authorities decide it. Yeah, so you guys are still mandatorily need to take it, whether you like it or not. I still disinfect my hands and keep my distance like before. It's a simple habit. I don't like the distance thing. You don't like, for me, the distance thing. I think you don't need to keep distance from people like you used to. I don't think we need to do that, but I just think But if you're feeling unwell, if you're having a cough or whatever, then totally understandable. But if you feel fine, I don't think you need to keep distance from people. If I'm honest, like you don't need to be like miles away from them. If you're honest, we were told to take a test if we have flu-like symptoms. Yeah, if you have flu-like symptoms. But again, like if people have to pay for these things, people don't want to pay for them. This is the problem. So people have forgotten the CV vaccine. CVD will be yearly for the near future. England can't score not winners against some more, says Genie Bottle. They're all talking about the football. Nick Swift flu. What is next? Dinosaurs. Yeah. Not distance like before. I mean keep enough distance. Yeah. I mean just within reason, of course. Obviously within reason. So guys, just before I go to the next, let me make sure I got this right. Just before I go to the next article, guys, one of the best ways so this YouTube channel is one of the two only ways that I get financially support. This is my main source of income. So any financial support really does make a big difference, guys. And one of the ways you can financially support me, if you can, is by becoming a YouTube member. There's YouTube memberships are just as little as 99p. Just by being that, you get access to custom emojis, and whenever as a member you comment on any of my videos, I always respond back to you whenever you comment on any of my videos, guys. If you're a $2.99 member, you get early access to content. So after this live stream, I'll be making that available for people as well. So you'll get early access to those, and also as well, the emojis that I talked about are right here, guys. So you get to have the emojis of Ollie, who's there, Ollie the octopus, who watches over everything on top of the orb, the all-powerful orb that empowers this channel. All our power is emanated from the power of the orb, for those who don't know. The communist Russian spy Pingu, who is not on the right side of things there. He is definitely... So Larry the cat, who sometimes visits our channel, is very suspicious of Pingu, and rightfully so. And then there's the odd cookie monster hiding behind as well as the lava lamp that is formed as well. So you get emojis for all of them, as well as some funny emojis of myself as well. So you get all that kind of stuff if you do. Otherwise, you can financially support me is by buying me a coffee. Link for that is in the description as well if you want to buy me a coffee. And one of the other ways, if you don't want to do it outside in YouTube, one of the ways outside you can do it is by joining the Patreon. And unlike some other Patreons who Patreon accounts where you join their Patreon and you get absolutely nothing for being a part of their Patreon, no, you actually get content on there, exclusive content, by being a part of Patreon. Yeah, paid members get exclusive content, and even if you're not a paying for the Patreon and you're just a free member, you get access to exclusive content on there for free as well. So it's a win-win on there as well. So do check out the Patreon, patreon.com/REGANELITE, so you can get access to exclusive content there as well. So check out all that stuff, guys. The links in the description. And thank you to everyone and anyone who has financially supported me in any ways. If you can't financially support me, don't worry. I'd rather you look after yourself than anything else. Like I said, hitting the like button, sharing it across social media, commenting on my videos, guys, watching the videos a bit longer than you normally would. all those things are the best ways you can support me, guys. So if you can't financially support me, those are the ways you can support me. So thank you for that. Alistair Keir, thank you so much for another 5 gifted membership. I really appreciate your support. Gave one to Random Scottish History. Guys, you should check out Random Scottish History. Fantastic YouTube channel. Great, lovely history there from the star Jenny. Jenny does a wonderful job. Do check out the Random Scottish History YouTube channel, guys. I strongly recommend it. Martin Arnold was also gifted a membership. Nicholas Lindman as well gifted membership. Paul Fletcher and Goddess of Abundance was also gifted memberships. Thank you, Alistair Keir, for gifting those memberships. Much appreciated there as well. So, all the plugging done. Let's go to the next one. We've got two more stories for you guys before we wrap things up. I'm going through these a lot faster than I expected. So this one is from Sky News. So Rishi Sunak has been urged to stay on as Tory leader until November. So a senior Tory has urged Rishi Sunak to stay on as Tory leader until November to allow proper time for a succession battle to get underway. But others fear a protracted contest will be damaging. So why? So I think I've talked about this a little bit before. But so why does one senior Tory want Rishi Sunak to stay on until November? Well, so there's a couple of things. So now we generally thought, and I generally thought, and I don't know how much of you guys believe this, but I generally believed that Rishi Sunak was basically going to take a flight the moment that he lost this election, to literally take a flight out to America and be done with it. That's what I generally thought that was going to happen. But instead, he hasn't. He's still here. He's still at the moment the Conservative leader temporarily until a new leader is in place. And I'm very surprised by that. I'm very surprised that he is basically staying on at the moment as a Conservative leader. It is quite surprising to me. And he's talking like a normal leader, like a normal politician as well, which is very interesting. So I actually think he's probably going to be better. He's actually going to be better in PMQs because he's on the opposite benches as well. And he can kind of freelance as well because he knows that it doesn't matter what he says because he knows he's going anyway as the Conservative leader. So he can go wherever he wants in terms of his questions against Keir Starmer. So he could have some really good. He could pull some really good punches as opposition leader in Prime Minister's questions. Now, do I think he's going to stay on until November? I don't know. Part of me feels like, why would he want to? What benefits him staying on that long, though? That's the thing as well. And the thing is, does he want to stay on that long? Now, he did say in his final speech as Prime Minister that he would stay on until a new leader is announced. But obviously, not all MPs are in agreement of him staying on until November. Now, one of the reasons why they want to drag this until November is because of the party conference. The conference season, obviously, they want in the Conservative conference. They would rather have the leadership battle there so that they can win over the memberships there to decide who their next Conservative leader will be. That's what they want to do. Now, whether they want to drag it on that long, I don't know. But I also don't think obviously the next Conservative leader is going to be really important because it will decide what kind of direction they're going to go. Now, most of us think they're going to going further right rather than returning to the centre. We don't think they're going to do that. But I do think that he, at the moment, is the perfect caretaker for them. For this, if I'm a Conservative, if I'm a Conservative, I would rather say wait till November, let them battle it out, let them slug it out, and decide. Have a full-blown decision on this. And I think if Suella Braverman ends up losing, she'll end up defecting to reform. Originally I didn't think it was possible, but I'm actually the more convinced than ever that if Suella Braverman does not get her way, she does not get that leadership role, she will jump to reform. I can see her doing that. I can see her jumping to reform because she will feel that I'm not getting the respect I deserve. I'm not getting the appreciation I deserve. I can see her making that jump. I really, really can. But honestly, what do you guys honestly think? Do you guys actually think that Rishi Sunak is going to stay until November? If that's how it's going to be. I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say on this. So let's have a bit of a read. So, Rishi Sunak has been urged to stay on as Conservative leader until November amid divisions within the party over how long the contest to replace him should take. The Shadow Foreign Secretary Andrew Mitchell said the former Prime Minister's instincts is almost certainly to go, but more time was needed for potential success to make their case. The view is at odds with other senior figures who fear a protracted contest will leave a vacuum for Labour and Reform UK to capitalise on. Mr Mitchell told the Times Radio on Monday that an interim leader is not, in my view, the best option. The best option is to seek to persuade Rishi to remain. It's not an enormous long time in the scope of things. It's probably till mid to end November. He added, I think his instinct is almost certainly to go. I hope that he won't. Mr Mitchell said the Conservative Party conference at the end of September will be a good time for a debate to take place about who should take over the party. He pointed out the example of Michael Howard, who delayed his departure as Conservative leader for 6 months after the election defeat in 2005. Mr Howard was eventually replaced by David Cameron, who won the next two elections. I think we should play it long, Mr Mitchell says. Following this very significant defeat of the Conservative Party, we need to adopt a modest profile in this respect. I would also expect that the party conference, when people will have a look at what the Conservative Party is then saying, is the right time for the debate to take place. He added, I very much hope that what the party will decide to do is to mirror what Michael Howard did in 2005 and allow the party conference the space for candidates who are offering themselves to say what they would do. Members of Parliament can then take a view as a result of the showcasing. The Conservatives were reduced to just 121 MPs at the general election, their worst result in history. Yeah, had to put that in there. Mr Sunak accepted responsibility for the scale of defeat and said he would step down as Tory leader once the formal arrangements for choosing his successor were in place. The rules and timetables will be decided by the 1922 committee of backbench MPs who elected their new chairman last week. While several Tory MPs have called for a period of self-reflection before choosing a successor, others fear that this could be more damaging to the public's perception. And should the contest drag on, Mr Sunak may be unwilling to stay, forcing the party to adopt another leader in the interim. Yeah, I think another leader in the interim is probably really bad because it's like, Reform can poke fun, Nigel Farage can poke fun at it, Keir Starmer can poke fun at it, saying you guys can't pull yourselves together, you can't unite as a party, you're all over the place, like that's what it can be. The WWE could put on a bouquet between Suella Braverman and Kimmy Baganoff to decide the new leader. I don't think it's a wrestling match that anyone would really pay to watch, if I'm honest. I certainly wouldn't pay. I wouldn't even pay 10 quid for a match like that, if I'm honest. He has got to stay as he is an MP, and the Tories couldn't afford another seat lost due to a by-election. That's very true, Mad Monk. A by-election obviously would see him gone. I think what he will probably, but he obviously just wants the lead. I think he just wants to step out of the leadership role rather than. I think he just wants to step out of the leadership role completely rather than abandon his role in his constituency. I think he'll want to strike a balance between his MP role and his family life role. He wants to get out of this leadership role. I think that is definitely the case. Should the contest drag on? Yeah. Forcing another interim leader is probably not the best interest of them. So Laura Hodgson, the Tory mayor of Tees Valley, said the party should not navel gaze for too long, suggesting it would turn off the public even more. Well, the public are already quite bitter about the way you guys dealt with things, if I'm honest. So he told the BBC a protracted contest feeds into the perception that we're more concerned about the ongoings of the Conservative Party rather than what the public care about, which is how do we help improve their lives. Well, you guys never cared about our people's lives before, so why would they? Well, the problem is that still lots of people voted for you for some dumb reason, but there you go. No candidate is yet to officially declare they will run for the Tory leadership. This is surprising. I'm surprised that no one has said for sure that they're running, and I wonder why they're holding back on that. It's very interesting. Those believed to be preparing bids include shadow communities, communities in Secretary Kemi Baganoff, the Shadow Home Secretary James Cleverly, former Minister Suella Braverman, Robert Jenrick, and Tom Tugendhat, the Shadow Security Minister. Tom Tugendhat is not going to get it. He's not going to get it. Robert Jenrick, he's not going to get it. I think it's a straight freeway between Kemi Baganoff, James Cleverly. I still think, even if when people were saying Suella Braverman is a dunner, I can still see I can still see against all the odds, Suella Braverman still getting it. Like it's not about what it's not about what the remaining MPs think. It's about what the whole membership think. That's what it's about. You know, that's going to be the interesting thing there. That's where it's going to be. Random Scottish History, good to see you. I hope you're doing well, guys. Like I said before, youtube.com/Random Scottish History. Do check out the wonderful work she does there. It's really, really great, fascinating stuff. Whenever you get the chance, I highly recommend it. Casper Norva is also here. Good to see you there. I hope you're doing well. Stephen McMahon said in response to Zhao's WWE thing, it would be terrifying, the dirtiest match in WWE history. Oh, you are funny there. And Casper Nova is a member for now 6 months. Wow, 6-month membership. Thank you so much, Casper, for being a member for so long. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That is very, very kind of you. Just finishing off, obviously, on Rishi Sunak and the Tories, obviously. This is going to ramble on and on and on. I don't know what Rishi Sunak is thinking. Will he want to? The thing is that it's a catch-22. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on it, but I'm actually very keen to see how he does as opposition leader in the PMQs as opposed to them being prime minister. It's going to be very interesting, that first prime minister's questions, because he, like I said, he can freelance whatever he wants in that situation, and not worry about any repercussions whatsoever. So it's going to be rough for him, for Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister. And I also think that the fact that Ed Davies is now going to be asking the 2 questions instead of the SNP. It'll be interesting to see what questions Ed Davies pressures Keir Starmer with as well. So the last article I've got for you guys, good to see your context there. I hope you're doing well. The last one I got for you guys, some of you guys may have already heard about this already, but I wanted to cover it a bit more. We're going to Scotland for this last one, you guys. This is from the Financial Times. The headline is that the SNP's funding pressure weighs on the party after the bruising election. So defeats at the hands of Labour means that the Nationalists have just £358,000 of annual funding for Westminster, down from 1.3 million. So obviously, understandable. It doesn't take rocket science to figure out that obviously they don't have the same amount of money that they used to, because obviously they've lost a huge amount of MPs, because they are no longer the third largest party, because they went down to 9 SNP members now in Westminster. They've obviously have to make some significant cuts. It is still very bruising, to say the least. I've been seeing John Sweeney has been conducting himself a lot better since the bruising of this election. Some of the hitting back at BBC Scotland interviews that he's had has been very, very good from John Sweeney there. I'm still kind of like, at the moment, I don't think replacing John Sweeney is the answer. I think he should be given a chance to really prove himself. I know some people will say it should be Stephen Flynn should be at that. Some people have argued that it should be Stephen Flynn at the head instead, which I totally understand. But I think he is the right person. But it's right now. It's just some soul searching, some rebuilding, and obviously, like, I wouldn't pay much attention to what the mainstream media says about the SNP at this point, because we know they're just going to keep rubbing it in the wounds anyway. So to any of my Scottish viewers, don't take what the mainstream media says seriously, because you know they're just going to say the same things over and over again about it. So Larry the Cat, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Has anyone seen that the suspect was he was on the rooftop in Pennsylvania? Wait, what? You're saying Pingu was in Pennsylvania at the time? Ooh, I'm gonna have to have a discussion with him after this. Anyways, let's read a bit more into this, guys. So, the Scottish National Party hobbled finances are set to drag on this efforts to regroup from a devastating UK general election performance in time to defend its position in the devolved Hollywood Assembly in 2026. The party's defeat at the hands of Labour, with the SNP falling to just 9 MPs from the 48 previously, means the Nationalists have just 358,000 of annual funding for Westminster, down from 1.3 million. The lost funding is equivalent to around 40% of the income the party receives separately from memberships and subscriptions, and leaves the SNP weakened as it prepares to defend its control of Scotland's devolved government in 2026. The loss of full-time politicians and activists, the loss of momentum and lack of funds, added to the growth perception of poor performance by the Scottish Government, makes defeat in 2026 look increasingly likely after this election, says James Mitchell, Professor of Public Policy at the University of Edinburgh. SNP leader and First Minister of Scotland, John Sweeney, has said he has 22 months to turn things around ahead of the 2026 election in May that year. The Labour have already launched a long campaign for the election, hoping to oust the SNP after 17 years of nationalist rule. The SNP income, largely based on membership prescriptions, had already been hampered by police investigations into finances that have so far generated embezzlement charges against Peter Modell, the former chief executive and husband of former leader Nicola Sturgeon. Yeah, that was really bad. That was really bad publicity for the SNP, regardless of what you say. That was not good for them. The party's membership, the largest in Scotland, has slumped from 125,000 peak in 2019 to just shy of 70,000 at the end of last year. In 2022, the party received 3.2 million from its members, down 9% to 2.5 million in the previous year, according to its latest accounts. Still, it's seen as a source of strength for the SNP. We are lucky to have the memberships which give us a steady income, putting us on sustainable footing, said one activist. But its poor UK general election result has worsened its position, parties receiving £22,296 a year per elected MP and £44.53 for each 200 votes in what is known as short money to assist their operations in Westminster. The SNP's loss of MPs means a culminant reduction of £942,000 a year compared with 2019. Michelle said that this funding loss will make it difficult to build up with the war chest for the 2026 election. The loss of full-time politicians, their staff and expenses that allow MPs to magnify their party's profile translates into equivalent of further annual losses of a national of 3.5 million, he added. Big losses in seats and votes have created major problems for the SNP, he said, potentially causing the need for cost-cutting at their party's headquarters in Edinburgh. The immediate impact will be on the SNP's operation at Westminster, where redundancies are expected among the roughly 30 advisory, communication and research staff. Yeah, they have to make the cuts. There's no two ways about it. Ruth, good to see you there. I hope you're doing well. It has previously been the third largest party in Westminster, but we have now diminished position, with the Liberal Democrats enjoying a higher profile after taking the SNP's place. The party did not comment, but some SNP veterans insist it would manage, noting they have experienced hard times before. Yeah, exactly. Of course they have. They've experienced hard times before, and it's like everyone. It's a case of, you have your wins and you have your losses, and this was a loss. It's about learning from them, learning from things, what went wrong, what could have been done better, all these kind of things. It's a lot of reflection. That's what it is. I don't think there's a limited short money. We will have a huge impact at headquarters, but I think it will limit support for the remaining MPs, said Liz Lloyd of consultancy Flint Global and the former chief of staff to Sturgeon. In the 2007-2011 era, we had 6 MPs, but it didn't stop our Scottish election victories in 2007 and 2011, she said. Money is useful, but it isn't everything. 100%. 100%. The SNP, like many others, was caught on by the hop of Rishi Sunak's snap general election. In the first quarter of this year, the SNP reported no major donations. In the first week of the campaign, donations to Labour almost topped 1 million, and the Conservatives netted more than $500,000. The SNP received only £128,000 thanks to a bequest from a late party member state. The SNP's national campaign, dubbed Amairish by Michelle and other observers, visibly suffered from a lack of funds in comparison with Labour's ominous presence, billboards and social media presence. The evidence was most stark in the SNP's first party political broadcast, mocked for its cheap production values. This election, the SNP's polling and focus groups operation was not run by people who know what they are doing and also suffer from a lack of resources, said Lloyd. I think 2026 is all to play for, she said. The SNP has the benefit of being in government, the ability to suit up, but also the downside of criticism for failure. Yeah, the 2026 Hollywoods are going to be crucial. I think they will. There's time between now and then, so that's going to be crucial for them. But yeah, it was quite a drubbing. There's no getting away around that. We talked about that before, but it's about the here and now. It's about what they're going to do next. Yes, of course, it's the loss of money is going to hamper them, for sure. But about getting out there, campaigning on those doors, convincing people to join the SNP, back in their membership, talking about the benefits and all that kind of stuff, reminding people the importance and the need of why Scotland needs its independence. For those who are here who want that, the long-term benefits of it. Obviously general election has kind of pulled people's perception about the general election, kind of pulled that away from it. So yes, of course, I understand people still want to keep talking about it, but I think there was also, I do generally have this consensus that I do think some people voted Labour, even though they wanted independence just for the sake of trying to wipe out the Conservatives. I do believe that there was that consensus in Scotland, even though they didn't need to. They didn't need to vote Labour to oust the Conservatives. They should have stuck with the SNP. But that's not obviously the main reason why that's not the main reason. There's a number of factors behind the vote at the general election as well, and it's very important to highlight as well, especially the postal votes. Obviously there was a major issue with that as well. May have made a difference to 1 or 2 seats as well. I think that's really important as well. So but yeah, it is obviously at the moment time for reflection for the Scottish National Party. So just before we play a funny video, just to see what you guys are saying in the back. Give the SNP some funds for the next election. I'm a member. Gave some funds for them. I'm a member of the party. Yeah. Obviously, if you're not a member, join. Help them out the best way you can. But obviously, there's a lot of groundwork that needs to be done there as well. Was a bit of false flagging operation. What's that about? Sorry for not interacting from the start. Was too tired to be sociable, says Ruth. No worries, that's fine. Farage is the bad smell that nothing really can keep out Genie Bowl. I have my milkshake at the ready. I'm surprised a lot of Scottish voters. There was quite a few Scottish voters that voted reform. In some of the seat numbers that we looked at, I was very surprised by that. Mr. Crook's hired for security test. Trump used blood packs, fire ops, new grift. Yeah, I'm probably going to talk more about the Trump thing tomorrow in the Snowflake Corner, guys. It's totally sus, Sir Larry. Some bystander seeing what a load of armed security didn't I? Right, yeah. Yes, indeed. So, guys, I've got one more funny video for you guys before we head out. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Some of you guys have seen this already from 1 or 2 other people, but I can't not play this one on the channel, guys, because it's just too good not to play, guys. So even if you've heard this 2 or 3 times, you know you're going to get a laugh out of this one. It is from Broken News with the headline "Scandal in Westminster."
Welcome to Broken News. Reporters and journalists around the UK have been left at a loose end during the worst shortage of political scandal in living memory. It follows over a decade of almost constant news out of Westminster, but there's no suggestion of when the current dry patch will end.
Oh no.
Well, let's cross to our political reporter, Jeff McGubbins, who's been on the hunt for scandal. Jeff, what have you been hearing?
Well, Rodney, yes, very little is the answer, I'm afraid. There was that little bit of footage, wasn't there, of Angela Rayner wearing short shorts while supporting HIV charities. We tried to whip that up into a big story, but unfortunately, no one biting.
OK, and aside from that, what else has there been?
Well, as I say, Rodney, very little in terms of scandal in Westminster.
Angela Rayner in short shorts? Is that the best you can do? You've had a week. They've been in power a week. You've got nothing. Nothing whatsoever.
So maybe there is one story which is potentially a major story developing. So at the state reopening of Parliament, one of the new intake of MPs, they're there their first day, their opening speech, they're sitting in the House of Commons. Apparently one of the new MPs let one go.
Sorry, they let one go?
Quite a bad one, from my sources in Westminster.
So that's the best
tell me.
you've got?
Quite a bad one.
One of the new intakers hoofed out un earth surprise on the benches. Is there nothing else? There's been no corruption, backhanders, someone getting finger blasted in number 11?
What?
Nothing whatsoever.
As I say, now, one of my Westminster sources, no doubt, updating me on, that's Mum.
Well, does she have anything?
Not related to Westminster.
What's she messaging about?
It's about Christmas. It's early in the year, but I could talk about the football.
I don't want the football, you're a politics reporter.
Well, it's...
So you've got nothing else? What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. You're up to date.
I'm just gonna, just like that. Wait, where's it? Like, just the face there. It's like, oh fuck, we ain't got any more scandals. They're gonna kill us. Oh, it's brilliant. That still shot is just brilliant. When I first saw this, I just couldn't just. Oh, I've watched it at least 3 times. This is my 4th time. Can't get enough of this video. Absolutely brilliant. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I do. I know many of you have already seen it a couple of times, but I just thought it was really, really good. Yeah, they are absolutely good, Ruth. Absolutely, they are absolutely fantastic. So, guys, just a quick reminder before you head out, before I hit the outro. So tomorrow I will be live at 7 p.m. Sorry, 7 p.m. for the Snowflake Corner. Sorry, not 6 p.m. 7 p.m. for the Snowflake Corner covering world news. So if you guys want to watch along with me, you're more than welcome to do so. As we'll live stream all the way up to Max's. Well, try to go all the way up to Max's live stream at 8:30. And then on Wednesday, obviously there will be the King's speech, which I may do some snippets on the Snowflake Watch. I don't know, but I am going to do the Snowflake Watch tonight. Wednesday night, usual time, 8 o'clock, guys. I may do some bits on the King's speech. I may not. I may do some other things. It varies. I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll see. We'll see on that. And then on Thursday, I'm supposed to have a guest for a live stream. I'm not giving that person's name away. I'm going to message that person again because I wanted that person to confirm that he's definitely going to be at 8 o'clock. So I just need confirmation that it's going to be 8 o'clock and not any other time. Or I can move the time slot for that person if really need be. So do keep your eyes out. I will, as soon as I got confirmation of the time slot, I will put it out there for you guys, or I'll put it out there for you guys as well. And then Friday there'll be a premiere of the World's News Round as well. Will I be bringing back Regan's? I know will I bring back Regan's News Round? I will bring it back at some point. I will bring it back at some point because I've updated thumbnails and all that stuff for Regan's News Round as well. Please don't REGANELITE. Don't what? Sorry. Please don't what? I will bring back Regan's News Round at some point. I just don't know. I just don't know when I'm going to bring it back because obviously at the moment I'm doing. I want to keep trying to do these interviews with people on Thursday evenings, which I think is much more fun. So I want to try and keep getting a different guest on each time if I possibly can. No, but if I have to get a same person, I will do as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming along. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you, Alistair Keir, for 10 gifting memberships today. I really appreciate your support, my friend. Thank you so much for that, as always. I really do appreciate it. Guys, make sure you check out youtube.com/random Scottish history for fantastic history there. Make sure you check out the Two Davies, youtube.com/the Two Davies. He will be the Two Davies. Oh, there's only one Davey at the moment, but he'll be back on Thursday at 4 p.m. So do check out their live stream when they go live there as well. And on Wednesday, obviously, I will be doing an after chat after the live stream as well, guys. There'll be another poll. There'll be the usual Tuesday morning poll for you guys. And there's also going to be some. I've got 1 or 2 community members polls or posts coming as well for you guys as well. And on Wednesday, I will have dropped the videos that are coming down over Rumble and Patreon, the exclusive videos as well. And just a final reminder before I do the outro, guys. There is a members only video you guys may have seen that came from Rumble. It's a fascinating piece from the New York Times about how Hamas have survived for so long. Do check it out if you are a member. I do recommend checking it out. It is about 20 minutes long, the video, but it's such a good video. I thought it's a really fascinating piece to read from the New York Times about how Hamas, the lengths that Hamas go. I do recommend checking out. So if you are a YouTube member, you don't even have to be a $2.99 member. If you are a YouTube member, guys, do check out that video because I won't be leaving it on there for too long. Or you can check it out on Rumble when it comes available, guys. So I'll just see. Are you guys happy with today's show? Did you find it interesting? Pingu says I was not in Pennsylvania at the time. So Pingu denies any involvement in what happened on Sunday. Pingu says he was not in Pennsylvania. So I'm just telling you what Pingu has said to me, Larry. So he denies any involvement. So we'll just have to leave it to that for guys. So, and on that bombshell, guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are notified of this live stream. And subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. And feel free to join our Discord community, which is completely free. The link for that is in the description as well. So thank you all so much for watching. And I hope to catch you all very, very soon.